You all may be familiar with how much of a fan of Rosie I am from the Thomas the Tank Engine series, since I have her as a main character in my Thomas series. Well, it all started out from her appearance episode Thomas and the Birthday Mail. And since then, Thomas and Rosie's friendship has gone bigger than we ever expected. Ever since I watched the episode Rosie Has Read, I felt that Thomas and Rosie's relationship in the show was something worth talking about. But I think we should start from the very beginning. In her first appearance, Rosie began idolising Thomas to the point of hero worship and imitation. Though this is said to be the most sincere form of flattery, it only served to irritate Thomas whilst he was trying to deliver a special birthday post train for Alice at High Farm. He even started to try and avoid her. But after Thomas had an accident in the course of delivering this train, Rosie helped him and he started to respect her. Ever since then, Rosie has become a reoccurring character in the show, often showing up besides Thomas or talking to Thomas every now and then. Rosie was later called to help Thomas shunt trucks until Hector the Horrid frightened her away. There was even one episode where Rosie stops Thomas from going under the bridge with a boat since the mast was too tall to go under it. And there was one hilarious moment where Thomas is chasing the Fat Controller's new car throughout the island and it passes Rosie, splashing mud all over her. That was honestly the first time we ever saw Rosie angry. And the first time we saw Rosie not interacting with Thomas as a main role was when she was charged to be Emily's back engine for the Funfest special. But we're here to talk about Rosie with Thomas, so we'll skip that one. On a rainy day in the 13th season, Thomas and Rosie played a game of Splish Splash Splosh in the puddles. And after Thomas takes the game too far, Rosie ends up rescuing Thomas when his fire went out after playing the game. As bad as Splish Splash Splosh is, it does show that Rosie and Thomas have a strong friendship with each other. One day Rosie had a cracked wheel, so Thomas and Butch the breakdown vehicle bought her a new one. On Sodor Surprise Day, aka April Fool's Day, Thomas blew his whistle right behind Rosie, causing her to bump into coal trucks and getting coal dust everywhere, which makes her laugh. And then came the episode Rosie Has Read, the very first Valentine's Day special for Thomas. Not long after she got repainted red, during Valentine's Day, Diesel bumped her just as Cranky was loading her flatbed with a crate of roses, which ended up crashing on the tracks. Bill and Ben later saw Thomas telling Diesel off, causing the twins to think they are attracted to each other, much to their embarrassment. A bit of teasing and a meet-up with Thomas at the washdown caused her to avoid him for fear of humiliation, and she was not exactly pleased to know that she was headed to the same place he was. After a brief conversation with Edward, she rushed off so fast that she took the shunter's pole with her before it was moved out of her way. Thomas equally had a talk with Henrietta about the situation, and decided it would be best for him to make up with Rosie. The two ended up front to front at Vickerstown Station, where they made up for their recent events, and found that their specials were for Lady Hat's Valentine's Day surprise. And this particular scene says it all for me.
Hiya, Rosie.
Thomas!
I'm sorry I was rude to you, Rosie. I do like you a lot, but no more than any of the other engines.
I feel the same.
Good.
Yes, good.
I'm glad we got that sorted out.
That scene alone shows that the two might have romantic feelings for each other. Don't believe me? Well, I'll go through the evidence with you. Before Thomas even starts talking, he starts to laugh a little nervously, since he's a little nervous to talk to Rosie after the events. And it's plain to see that Rosie's a little bit shy about meeting Thomas as well after the events. And while Thomas is talking, he starts blushing bright red. And as soon as he says that he likes Rosie a lot, she starts to blush as well. And even when they both admit that they don't like each other any more than any other engines, they still giggle a little bit while they're talking, indicating that the two may have a slight crush on each other after all. So will Thomas and Rosie admit that they love each other in the future of the show? It's really hard to say at this moment, but it does make for great fan fiction. And while I'm on the subject of Rosie Has Read, why the hell hasn't this promo picture been made into a Valentine's Day card yet? Make it happen, Mattel. Despite it actually being set up in Rosie Has Read, people made the assumption that Thomas and Rosie could be a couple long before the episode even aired. Because of promo pictures and various events of Thomas the Tank Engine, you'd often see Thomas next to Rosie. And as I mentioned before, you'd see the two next to each other in various episodes where Rosie has a main role alongside Thomas. Even in a Thomas and Friends Big World Big Adventures jigsaw puzzle, she's next to Thomas. And it's this kind of thing which brought on various fan fictions on YouTube, like with Trainlover476's Tommy Thomas series when Rosie was introduced as Thomas's love interest, and of course my own Thomas series when I made them boyfriend and girlfriend, as well as the main characters of the show. Now some people would consider this episode to be really weird and that the engines on Sodor shouldn't have romantic relationships with each other, but I personally see nothing wrong with it myself. I mean, since the engines on Sodor can have various emotions, it would make sense that they would have romantic relationships for each other with certain engines. Hell, Annie and Clabber have a great dislike for Daisy, so I see this romantic thing working on Sodor. And the episode Rosie has read is overall not great, especially when you compare it to other episodes in the show, but it is a nice little Valentine's Day episode, as well as being the very first Valentine's episode that they ever made in the series. It's a sweet little plot and a nice lesson to teach kids about not being rude to others despite what other people say. And if I'm honest, Thomas and Rosie were really the best characters in the show to demonstrate this message, especially with the title being a pun of the Roses of Red poem. But for all I know, this could have just been a setup for this plot, and it may not go any further than that, but it could do in the future, we just don't know yet. So whether or not the two actually do become a romantic couple in the show, I'm really interested to see how their friendship goes further as the show goes on. So Thomas and Rosie's friendship has become very interesting to me since Rosie has read, and I look forward to see how it develops as the show goes on. And it's almost like the team at Mattel have actually been seeing some Thomas fiction on YouTube and the internet for the inspiration for this episode. So it shows that even the writers ship these two. But like I said, the two may not actually become a couple in the show, but we're probably going to have to wait and see if they do or don't. And though this might just be the fanboy in me and because of my fan series, but I really think that Thomas and Rosie's relationship could go a little bit further as the show goes on. But whether it does or not, we're going to have to wait and see. But whatever direction Thomas and Rosie's friendship goes, I look forward to seeing the results of it in the near future of the show. And whatever the results are, whether they're a couple or not, we're just going to have to accept it as it is.